All right, so here we go. So this is True. True is a cloud-based and web-based, all-inclusive project management application, meaning that we are simply logged into a website. So first note here is that you guys can use any computer types, Windows, Macs, doesn't matter. You just simply log into True to get going with it. Second note is that everything you see here on my screen, we redesigned this whole program a couple of years ago to fit natively on an iPad. So what that means is that technically speaking, the quote unquote mobile version of True is the full program. So if you guys have tablets or iPads, you can take the full entire system with you out to the job site and do whatever you want to do with True, including setting up bids, creating purchase orders, generating pay applications, invoices, and things like that anywhere you want to. All right. Quick little navigation here for you. So when you're poking around yourself, you kind of know where to go. Main menu, top left-hand corner of the screen is right here. And a couple of the key areas for you guys. First and foremost, going top down is the directory. The directory is going to be a client's database, if you will, essentially the CRM portion of True. And so in here is where you guys can, if you want to, and we can also import, by the way, data from QuickBooks if we do want to set up QuickBooks and True together. But typically we will import all of your client lists, vendor lists, also things like products and pricing if you have any in QuickBooks into True. And so moving forward with True, this is where you guys will maintain all of your client history, client contact information, but also more importantly, it's very easy for navigation. For example, if I click on these guys here, Acme Enterprises, these are just a pretend example client of ours. First and foremost, I can see current financial status of these guys, if maybe they're on hold or if they owe us any money. I can also jump to, by clicking a button here, any related quotes for service work or any bids if they're maybe a commercial client of ours, or jobs or contracts and invoices and so on. And also too, like a typical CRM, we do have that parent-child relationship, they call it, where you've got a master account record with multiple points of contact that you can also kind of manage and track separately. But besides that, again, just pretty straightforward stuff here that you would find in most CRM systems out there that we just simply call our directory. All right. Now, skipping over planning for just a moment, the jobs and the contracts, these are two separate workflows that really will let you guys manage two separate types of jobs. So, for example, the jobs workflow, quote unquote, I call it, is where you guys would run those smaller service level, residential level type jobs where you've got basically some line items on a sales order. You can schedule it, you can invoice it, you can order materials for it, and then you're on to the next one pretty quick. So again, the smaller typical job there. And when I say workflow, the idea is that we're going to simply move left to right across our screen. We're moving the ball down the field, as they say. And so first and foremost, you've got a list of leads, and you can track your sales leads coming in here. You can assign these to each other. You can give each estimator or salesperson their own bucket or pipeline to follow up with and work. And then from there, with one or two clicks, you simply move the leads to a quote. So when it's time to do an actual quote, you can do that within a system. And so we get into actual line itemization, generating, printing out formal, nice-looking quotes in here, using different templates we have available for you guys. And so, you may be doing quotes now by hand through a spreadsheet, and that's fine, and you can still do that if you want to. But we can, again, get into line itemization where you can, type in manually. You can also maintain a product and pricing database in True if you want to, so to speed things up and also help making pricing more uniform. You can use that feature there. And we can also import records. So we can import line items, products, pricing from other programs. So in glass and glazing, things like GDS, Partner Pack, Toad, ProTech, etc. And so we can import line items from other specific estimating takeoff softwares, and you can import those on a quote. You can import those on an estimate for a bid. Or you can, if you're doing a lump sum bid, for example, you can always import those later on. But they are important to have in the system eventually, because once you win the job here in just a moment, you can then quickly, click on those items and do things like order or create a purchase order or generate a work ticket, we call it, to give to your crews, telling them either what they're installing, or maybe for the shop. I don't know if you guys do fabrication, but if you guys do any sort of fabricating on your own, issue work tickets galore over to your shop environment and your shop personnel, and it tells them what they're building, what they're doing in order, and so on right there for you. But again, the idea is that we have a very simple, straightforward workflow. We're going from leads to quotes to jobs, and you're just clicking buttons for the most part. Once you plug in someone's name and address one time, that's it. And we're just clicking buttons, upgrading things, and moving forward from there. And so this is, again, the jobs workflow for managing all of your service level or residential level, or even just retail over-the-counter sales, all right? Also, too, quick note is that you don't need to walk through these steps here. If you guys are doing sort of like an over-the-counter sale, let's say, you can always just click on the new button and jump ahead and create a new job from scratch. You don't have to walk through lead to quote as well, by the way. Now, on the flip side, we have another workflow for commercial construction called contracts. This is more for those larger commercial projects where you have a formal bid process in place. You're handling things like change orders and RFIs and submittals, and you're doing pay applications. And so the same idea, the same layout is here, but we just simply call things different terms, first of all. So as opposed to a lead and a quote and a job, we've got opportunities, bids, and contracts. And so the opportunities tab is where you would store those invites to bid, those ITBs or RFQs or whatever you call them here. And you can just have a safe place to keep them so you don't lose track of them, right? And so when you do want to go ahead and make a bid on a project, you would dive into it and you'll simply click a button, option new bid, and it'll upgrade this opportunity from, or this project from an opportunity to a bid, right? And now in the bid record, again, just like the quoting, we can get into actual line itemization. So you can put together your whole estimate for the project. And then also what's really cool is that you can set up multiple versions of the bid itself if you are bidding to multiple contractors. So within a bid record, we have a bidders tab where you can track those multiple GCs that are requesting bids from you guys. And then you can also set up different sets of numbers within the estimate line item screen here, if necessary. Furthermore, keep in mind, I said we designed True to fit on an iPad natively, so we're only showing you limited information on this screen here. But you can jump into, we call table view. Table view will show you more information for your line items, sort of like an under the hood, typical spreadsheet look and feel. And now you can get real hands-on with your estimate and do things like modify the markups line by line, the discounts, the tax bases, and things like that. Okay. And then going back to our bid. And again, you can turn this into a nice presentable, printable form using one of our e-form templates. Same thing for the quote side as well from previously. Use one of our form templates and print this guy out. And again, when you guys are awarded the contract, awarded the job, all you do is you click a button and you'll upgrade this bid to a contract. Within the contract screen, there's a lot of tools involved for doing project management. Let me pull up one quick example for you here real quick. And so we are doing things like milestone tracking. We're doing, job costing. We're storing files in our repository. We have task management going on, so you can create basically punch list items for your guys out in the field that they can view on one of our phone apps, by the way, called True Field. Very quickly, we have 2 phone-specific apps meant for the field personnel: True Time, purely a mobile time clock app, and then True Field. True Field gives job visibility to those field personnel, shows them things like their schedules, job details, file attachments. They can create daily reports, they can upload pictures and so on without really doing too much because that's not their role, right? And they're also not going to see like financial information. They're not going to see contract values and things like that because that's not really their duty. If they needed to, simply give them access to True through a computer or an iPad, and they can do and see what you want them to see. All right. Also on an active project, we have a virtual time card under labor. So under labor, you've got your time card where you're seeing real time, all the time punches from the time clock app. We also have a time clock in the system. So if you're at your desk, you can punch in, punch out there as well. And you can also manually add time punches here. Maybe your staff doesn't all have smartphones. No big deal. We have clients that still use paper timesheets. They turn it on Friday. You'll have your guy just punch in manually their time punches there. And also under labor, we have things like field reports, from the computer. You can create like safety talk reports, daily reports, T&M reports From the phone, from the field, they can create a daily report, which tells you that day who was there, what was accomplished, so on and so forth. Also, too, the work ticket system I mentioned earlier, very, very powerful tool. You know, for a job, you're going to create work tickets, aka work orders. That tells your field crews what they're installing, what they're doing, and also can tell your shop personnel what they're billing, you know, what days. And then finally, we're going down the line here. You know, you can track other subcontractors if you do happen to use any other subs on a large project. Logs are for all of your construction documents like RFIs, change orders, submittals, and so on. We can track and create all those right here. And finally, financial. Financial tab will show you all the financial goings on of the project. So your scheduled values will be shown right here. You know, we're doing pay applications and pay requests here as well. You can see all the items you've purchased from the, you know, for this job here, expenses, bills, and ultimately job costing. You know, as you guys are going through the motions, generating purchase orders, inputting bills from your vendors, the job costing tab will virtually automatically fill itself in there. And so you can see all the cost on a given project at any time. All right, there's also more tools too if you're looking at an active project where you can jump into and see all the materials. You can go create more purchase orders. And we also get into things like inventory and so on too. So back in the main menu, procurement workflow will show you like, you know, places where you can generate purchase orders out of there. Materials section gets into heavy duty enterprise level warehousing, inventory control, shipping, receiving, and things like that. Then we also do have, let's say, equipment. Equipment is for not so much tracking locations of vehicles, but you can, you know, set up maintenance schedules, have maintenance logs, do assignments, schedule as a resource your vehicles and your tools and whatnot. And yeah, then the one thing also too is the calendar. How to get to the calendar? You can simply click on a lightning bolt. Or I'm sorry, lightning bolt in the calendar, and it'll launch the built-in calendar for you. And within the calendar, please feel free to click around. There's 9 different ways to view this thing. You can look at it month to month, you know, week to week, day to day, however you want to. There's a cool resource view as well. The one resource view, the pivot list, will show you all your resources here on the screen. And you can very, very clearly see, you know, which crew members, which crews, which personnel are doing what on what days. You can drag and drop items around. And also too, you guys will set this calendar up however you want to, you know, so ideally it'll be a company-wide calendar where you're going to have internal company meetings on here, you know, client sales calls, you know, schedules for job sites for your crews, deliveries, reminders, you know, employees pay time off. Or if you scroll down further, you can also do things like just, you know, filter your view and see the whole calendar by resource, by employee, and so on. So that's pretty much it. Again, this is DJ here at True for a quick tour.